Thank you. And building on that question, please, for 56 years, Open M has strived to be the forefront of change and has been helping meet the basic needs of Greater Akron residents through food, employment, and health. In addition to these, what other priorities do you see are essential for preventing poverty and promoting economic opportunity for all in our community? And Perry, you want to build on what you were saying, please?
Yes, I go back to that. When I look at Open M in the years that we have volunteered and worked with them, the piece is missing is the educational piece is missing. We've worked with men for many years coming into the community, and one of the things that we recognize, and these are the same people that goes to Open M seeking medical attention, seeking food for their family, that a piece is missing is an educational piece, and that educational piece could be as simple as not going to college, but I get me a trade. And how do we help them get that to that place? The other thing I would like to expand on, too, is the fact the substance abuse issues. Let's not be blind to that, which plays a part in people getting education and people holding down jobs. So how do the community come together to be of help with the healthy support system that people is missing in our community?
Thank you. David?
Yeah, because of my previous role in the schools, I do tend to look at, how many of these issues in our community impact kids. And in order for kids to thrive, the family has to thrive. And so a lot of the issues that I see aside from food or housing, and health, not just physical health, but mental health and affordable housing. Because if you take one area of schooling and it's chronic absenteeism, physical health in terms of asthma or diabetes can impact a kid's attendance. At the end of the month, we see a lot of kids who don't show up because their families at Open M or the food bank trying to get food, or they're couch surfing as a family and have to find a new location to live. And we know that chronic absenteeism will degrade a child's opportunity to graduate from high school and move on into whether it's work, training, college, or whatever. And that impacts our families as a whole in this community.
I absolutely agree about education and housing, but I want to talk a little bit more about safety. I was over at Summit Lake Community Center this summer for a summer camp that the city did, and we were talking to a group of middle school students, and I asked, what is one thing that would make you feel safer? And this little girl looked at me and she said, I wish we could all carry guns. I would feel safer. Oh. And it's like a shock value thing, but I don't say it to be shocking. I say it because that's a couple blocks away from Open M. And until we are able to get a handle on the safety challenges in our community, particularly when it relates to young people, it's hard to get anything else done. And so that's something that I'm laser focused on. A long conversation yesterday with our county executive, because policing is a key part of how we address this, but how we really go to the upstream issues and the trauma and all of the issues our young people are facing, right? One of the highest indicators of whether someone will be involved in youth violence is whether they were involved in the child welfare system, right? So how do we work on every organization that touches youth in our community and making sure that we're addressing that at the front end, giving kids energetic, exciting things to do. But I absolutely agree, all of these issues are very critically linked.
Thank you.
I would agree with everything that was said. And from where I sit, obviously, we all just came through a really traumatic period of time. I mean, COVID kind of blew the world up. And when it blew it up, we now have a chance to rebuild it. And we should rebuild it very differently. And shame on us if we don't. If nothing else, we learned that the equity exists among all classes, races, ages, colors, you name it. And that what we see with children that want to carry guns or kids that don't get to school are lots of underlying social determinants of health that we need to address. Families need help. There isn't a parent in a war. I will never believe there is a human that got up this morning and said, today I'm going to be a really lousy parent. They don't. It's just the opportunities they're given and what happens in the supports. So if we want to make a difference, we need to start looking how we rebuild this crazy world. I mean, our schools were daycares. No parents wanted to go home and teach their kids. They weren't trained to teach their kids. I mean, we have to think about this holistically and make a difference because our kids are suffering. And David's point about mental health is huge. Folks need help. And you're never going to make any of this better unless we start addressing these issues one at a time.